Hello everybody and hope everyone is doing really well. This is me, All Sport ABP, with another video on my new All English YouTube channel. I hope you like it, and since this is the ICC Test Championship season, we're going to talk about Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka, test number 2. This is going to be happening at the Sinhalese Sports Club ground at Colombo. So this ground itself has a lot of history associated to it, and also a unique piece of history that Bangladesh is sweetly a part of. Well, Bangladesh have just played 3 test matches against Sri Lanka in this particular ground starting from 2001. The second one was played in 2002, and the last match that Bangladesh played against Sri Lanka in this red ball format was in 2007. But the big story that I want to talk about and touch a little bit of emotionally is the Mohammad Ashraful story. Later on, he became one of the biggest superstars, in fact, one of the first superstars that Bangladesh cricket ever produced in the early 2000s. But his journey started right there at the Sinhalese Sports Club ground in 2001. The first innings, Bangladesh just could score 90 runs, and then Sri Lanka posted a massive 555 for 5. Marwan Atapattu scored a double ton, Mahela Jayawardene scored a 150, and in the history of Test cricket, for the first time in many years, there was an instance of a batter going retired out. So that only proves how tired Atapattu and Jayawardene would have been of batting. So that's where it ended. Sri Lanka posted 555 for 5, and Bangladesh were so many runs behind, it was almost impossible for them to avoid an innings defeat. But there came the resistance at 81 for 4 in the second innings of Bangladesh. Mohammad Ashraful came in for the second time in that match. He was the top scorer in the first innings as well with 26 runs. But on his debut, he came in aged 17 years and 61 days. He was on set to break a world record. He became the youngest cricketer in Test cricket to score a century, and that was the particular ground. Even Mahela Jayawardene, Atapattu, they all came up to him, appreciated his knock. And imagine the kind of bowlers that he had to face. He faced Chaminda Vas, he faced Pushpa Kumara, he faced Muralidharan. There was a lot of variety in that Sri Lankan bowling, and to go through that and in your debut as a teenager to go and get that century, that was an amazing feat. Back then, at home, we did not have TV and live coverage, so all we had to do was to keep our ears in the radio station, the local radio Bangladesh. They actually transmitted the news to us, the live coverage to us, and through that, we got to imagine what a lovely knock that was from Mohammad Ashraful. It wasn't very sweet for Bangladesh. 2001, Bangladesh lost by an innings. One of those innings was a 90 all out, but yes, of course, the big story there was Mohammad Ashraful's 114, and he is still, right now, the youngest Test cricketer to ever score a century. So that is a world record that will be associated to the Sinhalese Sports Club ground forever. And then in 2002, Bangladesh lost by 288 runs. That wasn't a good outing for them as well. And in 2007, Bangladesh lost by an innings again. And one of their first innings totals was 89. So out of the 6 batting innings that Bangladesh played at this particular ground, there were 2 instances where Bangladesh actually scored below 100 batting first. So that would maybe be something that Bangladesh would try to avoid come the next match, which starts tomorrow. And let's see what happens at the toss. I think whoever's going to win the toss might be thinking of bowling first. So let's go straight into the probable lineups, which is our main part of the video. So both teams will have some changes, forced changes. Let's go with the Sri Lankan lineup first. Angelo Mathews played his last test match in the first match of this 2-match test series, and he's no more in the side, so there has to be someone who will be coming up to replace him. So Angelo Mathews' shoes are very hard to fill. Who's going to do that for Sri Lanka? That is the big question, and there are 2 particular cricketers in contention to make their debuts for Sri Lanka in Test cricket. One of them is Pavan Ratnayake. He's been doing very well in the domestic circuit of Sri Lanka, has a truckload of runs under his belt, has a lot of first-class experience, and I think he'll be very happy to start his Test career at home against a comparatively weaker opponent in Bangladesh. What other changes could happen for Sri Lanka? They had this ambidextrous bowler known as Tharindu Ratnayake, who bowled in the first test. He got his debut, he got a few wickets, but wasn't that effective. So would he be keeping his place in the second test as well? That would be another point of contention for Sri Lanka. And then moving on to the bowling attack, they've had Asita Fernando and Milan Ratnaike leading the pace bowling lineup, but Milan Ratnaike is out with a side strain, so he's not available for the second test. Who is going to replace him? That is another question. Let's go straight into my probable 11 for this second test for Sri Lanka. Nothing's going to change in the top order. Pathum Nisanka and Udara are certainly going to open. At number 3, it's the experienced Dinesh Chandimal. At number 4, Pavan Ratnaike might be replacing Angela Mathews. And then at 5, Kamindu Mendes, who's had a brilliant start to his test career and he loves Bangladesh. So I think he's going to try and make amends of that draw in the first test. He might have thought he could have maybe got a big 100 there and got Sri Lanka through the line, but he will get another chance in this second test. Dhananjay De Silva, the captain, comes in at number 6, and then it's Kushal Mendis at number 7. Then comes the bowlers. So Milan Ratnaike is not available. In place of him, who's going to take it? Is it going to be an out-and-out fast bowler? Is it going to be a spinning all-rounder? Is Tharindu Ratnaike going to keep his place? Those are all the questions that need to be answered. But according to some sources, looks like Sri Lanka might be going with 3 fast bowlers. And in that case, I don't think Dunit Welalage, who's been drafted into the squad for the second test, will get an opportunity. So the 3 fast bowlers for Sri Lanka, Asita Fernando for sure, Vishwa Fernando, who's been drafted into the second test squad, he's going to make his way into the starting 11, and then Kasun Rajitha, who's another experienced fast bowler. And I think this would form a very, very strong fast bowling core for Sri Lanka heading into the second test. And the lone spinner, Prabhat Jayasuriya. He was the player of the match against Afghanistan in the last match in 2024 that Sri Lanka played against Afghanistan in this particular ground. So Prabhat Jayasuriya is there, and then the 3 fast bowlers. This is how I predict the Sri Lankan lineup to be. Moving on to the Bangladesh starting 11, there are a few questions to be answered as well. A lot of debate happening in the Bangladesh social media. You won't imagine. It gets toxic at times as well. Mehdi Hasan Miraz is back. He doesn't have fever anymore. He's Bangladesh's best all-rounder in all formats at this particular point of time. So having him back would be a great, great advantage for Bangladesh. But having him in, will Bangladesh still opt to go with 4 bowlers like they did in the first test, or they'll actually make best use of Mehdi Hasan Miraz as a 5th bowling option as well and maybe take out one of the batters? Bangladesh's batting in the first test has been decent. Mushfiqur Rahim was among the runs. Captain Nazmul Hossain Shantu scored twin centuries in both innings. That was a great performance from him. Liton Das scored some runs. Sadman up the order, scored some runs. So there are runs in the top and the middle order of Bangladesh. And what they could do with is maybe take out the opener Inamul Haq Bijoy. Bijoy did not have a good run in the first test. Yes, he just scored a duck and then a 4 in the 2 innings that he played. He made his debut back in 2012, and then throughout all these 13 years, he was always in and out of the team, and he took long years to come back. So this was an opportunity for him to really stamp his authority and make his mark in this starting 11 and make his way into the test side and the ODI side maybe later on, just so that he can end his career on a high playing for the national colors. But unfortunately, looking at the team balance of Bangladesh, from that perspective, I think he's the only one who massively underperformed in the first test. So I think he might be taken out and Mehdi Miraz comes in his place. And then that brings up another big question: who is going to open? Nazmul Hossain Shantu is the only batter within the entire Bangladesh starting lineup who has prior experience of opening in a test match. So I think the captain himself might be taking that mantle on. He'd be partnering Sadman at the top, and then everyone else gets a bit of a promotion up the batting order, and the rest will follow. Let's go straight from the top. Sadman Islam and Nazmul Hossain Shantu, that's going to be the opening pair. And then at number 3, Mominul Haq, the experienced one. He loves to play against Sri Lanka. Mushfiqur Rahim scored a century, aging, but aging like fine wine. At number 5, Liton Kumar Das. At number 6, Jakir Ali Onik. At number 7, Mehdi Hasan Miraz, who's making his way back into the side. And then at number 8, we have Naeem Hassan, who got his first away fifer in the previous test match. So he would be an important component for Bangladesh in the off-spin department. And at number 8, the experienced Tajul Islam. And at 9 and 10, we've got a couple of fast bowlers in the form of Hassan Mahmood and a returning Ibadat Hussain. So looking at the Bangladesh lineup, you'd clearly have an idea that Bangladesh are looking to go with 5 bowlers. That would be, I think, a good choice for them to make. And of course, they've got the 3 spinning options and the 2 fast bowling options in them. That could be a bit of a contrast to what I predicted for Sri Lanka. But on the other hand, I think having someone like Mehdi Hassan Miraj and rewarding Naim Hassan for his performance in the previous test will do good for Bangladesh and will do good for the confidence of both these players, I would say. So that's that. That's the lineup. That's my prediction. Let's see if the team management thinks the same or think otherwise. But irrespective of everything, we will expect another very, very tightly fought competitive test match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka starting tomorrow. If you like the video, please come in, support, help me out. This is just a new fresh channel. Subscribe to the channel and also like the video if you want. Share it with your friends. And of course, everybody out there, stay well, stay happy.